up, guys? This is Tracy Williams today, and I am coming at you live. So today I have with me my good friend, Kirsten.
Hi.
And Kirsten, tell me your last name, because I can say Larson, but that Schroeder, I don't know.
My name's Kirsten Schroeder Larson.
See what I'm saying? I didn't want to shred it up, okay? So today I met her through a networking group, which is an awesome group we make on Tuesdays at High V. And it's a good brainchild for people who have businesses and that connect over in Overland Park. So we meet at 11:15 for about an hour, sometimes 2 hours, right? Okay. Yes, and every week you kind of get somebody different. Sometimes nobody shows up. Like last week, nobody showed up. But it's always an awesome time. And I just want to thank you for being a phenomenal woman that you are.
Thank you. And thanks for having our group here tonight.
Awesome. So we want to start off, and she's going to introduce the group to us and tell us what this is all about.
Well, actually, I think I will pass that part over to Dawn Crouch, who is our founder. We're the Aging Parent Answer Team, and this group is Dawn's brainchild.
Awesome. Give it up for Dawn.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us here. Pleased to be here. The Aging Parent Answer Team came about because I was just running into more and more people that were waiting too long to ask important questions. So as an insurance agent, sometimes people were ineligible to buy products and plan ahead. And I was brainstorming with some of the other members of the team, and we were all facing the same challenge that perhaps you feel like we do, where sometimes you don't want to ask a salesperson a question because you're afraid you're going to become part of some list and they're going to hunt you down and just try to sell. So I created...
That's what I hate, when people overload your email box. It's kind of like, let me hit unsubscribe. I just wanted one email, tell me what it's about, but don't like send me something every week.
So this is our way to add some value, to answer questions from live audiences like this one and provide some value. So the four of us, I'll continue to introduce the team. I'm Dawn Crouch. I'm an insurance agent. I talk about life insurance as well as long-term care, and if you need to, home and auto. To my left, your right, we have Troy Bandy with Cherished Transitions. Do you want to tell us what you do?
Yeah, so we are a senior living placement agency, and families call us when they're trying to figure out what the next steps are.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Now, I love that, Troy. This is my first time meeting Troy in person, but I got some info on you, and I really love your personal story and kind of how you got started. I think is what grabbed your heart. Right. So, can you give us a little bit of your personal testimony with that?
Glad to. I was working at KU as an RN case manager, and while I was working there, I ended up having to place my grandmother in senior living. And so as I got out into doing the process, I ran into some hurdles and kind of saw the players that were out there and realized there was no one out there with a clinical background doing it. Had a lot of salespeople, a lot of franchise owners, things like that, but there was a missing clinical piece. So I realized there was a little niche for us, and here we are.
Great. So when you were going through that process, was it hard? Was it difficult? I mean, how did it make you feel?
I knew how the process went at being a case manager, so I had an insight, and I even ran into a few issues. So I kind of realized if I can run into a couple roadblocks and things like that, how are people navigating this who have no idea where to begin or how to start? So that's really, if I can run into issues, I know families are out there trying to figure it out and scrambling for answers.
Exactly. Well, I love it. It's like, this show is really all about helping women, men too, but especially us women. That's how it started. But helping us just be able to care for ourselves spiritually, physically, emotionally, and financially. And so today you guys are getting like a double impact. I just want y'all to know y'all getting double for y'all trouble today. So I've already nicknamed the group. This is like Troy and his 3 angels he's got here. So you want to introduce our last person?
Hello. My name is Peggy Schultz, and I own a business called ReSettle Me, and we are senior move managers. We work with older adults and their families to help with the emotional and the physical part of making a household move.
Okay. Well, I have a few questions that I think people will ask, because this is something that really touches the heart when you talk about your family and just making that life change there. And we're not even just talking about elderly people, because I used to work in a nursing home, so sometimes it's young people that have a life-changing accident. They just went skiing or they just went riding on their motorcycle and bam, they can't take care of themselves anymore. So don't be under the impression that it's just all about the old folks. Okay, so we're going to start with Kirsten, and I just want to ask her, what are some of the most important things about estate planning documents that people need to have?
Well, as a life and estate planning attorney, I think the number one thing that every adult, and by adult I mean 18 and older, needs to have is a medical power of attorney. It's so crucial because, just like Tracy pointed out, you never know when that event is going to happen that might make it difficult for you to take care of yourself, even on a temporary basis. And you might need somebody who can step in and manage your care in an emergency, and you don't want that process to be held up in any way. You want them to be able to just step into your shoes and talk to the doctors and get the information that they need to make the decisions that are in your best interests.
Right. Now, for some that we might be talking to, they might not even know what an estate planning document is. So,
well, estate planning is a big umbrella term that can cover things like power of attorney documents, which take care of you, or let somebody take care of you if you're incapacitated. It can cover wills and trusts and a whole host of other kind of supporting documents that let you document what your wishes are for your care, for the care of the people that you're responsible for, and your legacy going forward.
Sure. Now, we always say, hey, I'm going to get a will. Or what about those who are thinking about, I don't really need a will. All I have is a house, and I'm going to sell my house and da-da-da. What would you say to...
First of all, you never know what's going to happen, and before you do those things, something could intervene before you get that alternate plan set up.
Right.
But life is complicated, and with the proper documentation, you can make sure that things happen the way you want them to, rather than leaving it to chance.
Right. Okay. I love that. Now, what if, you being an attorney, we know attorneys make lots of money, meaning they charge a lot. I'm just saying, they charge a lot per hour. How do you handle it when somebody first comes in your office, and they say, they want to take advantage of something like this?
Well, every attorney does it differently. I try to do a free consultation where I meet people and we figure out whether we're a good fit to work together. If we are, I do a lot of flat fee pricing so that we decide what plan the client wants and what they need, and I tell them what the price is going to be, and it's not a on the hour situation, so they know going in what it's going to cost.
Ooh, I know. See, a lot of y'all can take a breath now. It's not by the hour. Every attorney is not like that. Okay, so, well, let's go to Peggy for a minute here. Now, Peggy, what is your experience with, because I understand what you do is help people rehome. So when it's time for them to go to like a transitional living or even a nursing home or something, what are their options? What do you do exactly?
Well, what we do, usually when we get involved, our clients already have an idea of where it is they're going to go, but it's the process of leaving where they are now and getting to that new home that sometimes feels very overwhelming. So what we do is help them with downsizing, help them decide what they're going to take with them to their new home and what they're going to do with the things that they're not taking with them. Then we can line them up with qualified moving companies, and then we bring packing teams in. We bring all the packing materials. We take care of all the packing in a short period of time.
Oh, that's nice.
And we coordinate all the moving, and then we do the unpacking so that typically for our client, their very first night in their new home, the boxes are all gone, the bed is made, the telephone is plugged in, the lamps all work, their clothes are hung up nice and neat. So that's how we take some of that pain out of the moving process.
Oh, shucks. I need to call you because we are wanting to settle down and downsize. If we don't have to do no packing, that's going to help. I get there and I can just lay in my nice fluffy bed that's brand new because we're getting rid of everything. Yeah, then that would be great. Yeah. Okay. So I like that idea, and I'm sure a lot of other people could find benefit from that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now my other question is this: what if people decide, hey, I thought I wanted to go here, but it's not really what I want to do. I want to go somewhere else. Maybe it's a nursing home they picked out, and they say, I don't want to go here. I don't like it. It's not a good fit for me and the things that I need. Do you help make that transition?
Well, what I would do if I had someone who was talking to me about that is I would refer them to my friend Troy. And so I think Troy has probably got a good answer to that.
Awesome. So we're going to turn to Troy.
Okay. Yeah, so in that scenario, if, someone ends up at a place that is not a good fit, then we would kind of step in and help them figure out what the next place would be a good fit for.
Awesome.
If that did happen.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, Jay, thanks for joining. Hi, Joyce, thanks for joining, girl. Again, this is Tracy Williams, and I'm just sharing with my Phenomenal Women Excel group. Again, what we do is try to empower women to take care of themselves physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. And today I have a group with me today called the Asian Parent Group. Thank goodness I was off screen. So again, if you're coming in for the replay, please make sure you post your name, your city, and your state. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below, and we will make sure they get answered today. Okay, well, thank you, Troy.
You're very welcome.
I appreciate that. Okay. Well, Don, let me ask you, what age should a person consider buying long-term insurance care?
Long-term care insurance is really going to be for when you're unable to take care of yourself and you need help with what we call the activities of daily living, which are things like eating, bathing, transferring from sitting to standing, dressing, standing, all those sorts of things. So not necessarily medical care, but you have to be healthy enough to buy it. So the people that are deciding, well, I will buy that later, that's a senior thing, I don't want to touch that until maybe I'm 50, maybe I'm 60, maybe I'm 65. I'm seeing more and more people get declined because they waited too long and now they've got some sort of health issue that's popped up that maybe they're still healthy right now, but it's showing that later on they're going to need help with bathing or with dressing. For example, back pain can be something that's someone can wait too long, and now that you've got back pain, it's going to be difficult 20 or 30 years from now to get around and to do everything without assistance. So we start talking to people about long-term care insurance in their 40s, when you're still young, when you're still healthy, and when it doesn't cost as much. That being said, we do actually have policies that we can write all the way up to age 80. Now you got to be healthy again, and you're going to pay a premium because now you're probably only 5 years away from needing coverage instead of 20 or 30, but still very worth it because it's very expensive if you ever needing care. So planning ahead is the way to go.
So is the insurance that you sell, is that pretty much they need to have a physical beforehand?
No, it's actually a very simple process. We go ahead and we ask some medical questions on the application. In the past 5 years, have you had da-da-da? In the past 10 years, have you had this or that? And then there's a telephone interview. And depending on how old you are, they're actually going to do some cognitive screening. They want to make sure that you're not showing any signs of Alzheimer's or dementia already. And that's it. It's pass or fail. And there's no medical exam, no blood draw, no urine, no needles, nothing like that.
Okay. Well, I might still be able to pass, and I'm past 40.
We should talk after.
Thanks, Joyce. We appreciate your comment. Joyce says, this is good stuff. Thanks for sharing. Please make sure you guys share this video with other people so they can get this information, because it's something very helpful that we really need to take advantage of. Because like Don was saying, a lot of times we'll wait until later, and we'll go out and spend our money on something else thinking this is not really a big deal. It's not something I need right now. But I want to just encourage you to think about, maybe changing those priorities around a little bit, instead of going out to eat, save some of those eat nights and cook dinner. I had to say that real slow because sometimes I just really don't want to cook dinner, but, I just don't feel like it. And it's just easier just to go through the drive-thru somewhere or, go to Olive Garden, get that soup, and especially on these cold nights, and go home and, cuddle up with your honey. I'm just saying. So, Don, the other question I have is, like, for insurance, like if you're in your 40s and 50s and 60s, what is kind of the price difference that we would see there, for someone who is younger, healthier?
Great question. When you're in your early 40s, you can get long-term care insurance for about $1,500 a year. Now, if you wait until you're in your 50s, your 60s, you're probably looking at more like $4,000 or $5,000 a year for the same kind of coverage. Now, you can craft these. They've got a lot of moving pieces, so we can help find something that's going to fit your particular budget. But basically, the younger you buy, the better of a plan you're going to be able to afford.
Okay. Now, but what's the youngest that you've seen a person purchase for term insurance?
Long-term care insurance, I think the youngest I've ever sold was about 35.
Okay.
And they were an executive making a lot of money, and they could just tell that later on they were going to want to make sure there was a wall to protect around their assets, because once you've spent your whole life building your nest egg, the last thing you want to do is end up spending it all on care. Generally,
Right, exactly.
here's a hot tip for you. Generally, if you have a CPA or you have a trust, those things indicate to me that you care about minimizing your expenses, getting the most for your money, and leaving something behind. So if that's where you're at, long-term care is something you should be thinking about.
Okay. I like that. Now, just kind of getting back to Troy and what he was talking about earlier with the, if we need to be in a healthcare facility or assisted living, something like that, what kind of funding options are available to help pay for those senior living places?
Well, one thing that I'm a big proponent of is for veterans. There's the VA aid and attendance program out there, and
I
a
love
lot
it.
of veterans don't tap into that because they don't know it exists.
Right.
So that's one thing we always make sure that they know about and explore. But that's an option. We also run into some people who are Masons, and they can contact the Masonic Foundation and see if there's some funds out there. Some eligibility requirements for both, but
Right.
if they meet those eligibility requirements, there's funds available to them to help pay for some of the assisted
Okay.
living or memory care.
That's awesome. Now, does that limit them to certain places that they can go, or?
No, the VA aid and attendance is just, wherever they want to use that funds, they can, so there's no restrictions there. And also with the Masons, there's no restrictions as long as they are qualified for that funding.
That's nice to know. Ain't that nice to know, Joyce? My friend, he's a vet, so,
There you
yeah.
go.
Well, her husband.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Okay. So, Peggy, when you talk to some, people, sometimes do you have parents that are asking you, what should they do with their stuff if they want to give it away to their loved ones?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever run into that problem?
Well, actually, we see this a lot, and I would say we hear from almost all of our clients that they would like to, they have items that they would like for their kids to take, but they say, but my kids don't want my stuff. What's the matter with my kids? And actually, there's nothing wrong with their kids. The reality of it is that these days, the kids often have homes full of their own things. And so they may not have room for a lot of other things, or they have their own tastes. They have things that they like, just like our parents did when they bought their things to begin with, or when they were given them.
Right.
So we encourage our clients to talk to their kids about what they might like. And if it's something that they would like for them to have, it can be a special gift. If it's something that it turns out the kids don't want, there's a way that you can sell things. People can have estate sales if you're leaving a lot of items behind. If you've got a lot of what's in a household's worth of goods, estate sale makes a lot of sense. You can also sell things at consignment stores or, social media. Facebook and Craigslist have ways of selling things. And then we help people with donations if they just want to donate what they're not taking with them. So there's lots of ways to find homes for things if you're not going to take it with you.
That's awesome. Are there any particular places that you guys choose to donate them to?
Well, we talk to people about causes that they might be passionate about. Some people care a lot about animals, and so you can find local pet shelters that will take things. You might be surprised that they would find helpful. Or if they are particularly interested in supporting veterans-related charities, or women who are looking for professional clothing for jobs and that kind of thing. So it depends on what our clients are passionate about. We try to make a match for them.
Okay, that sounds good. Hey, Ricardo, I want to thank you for joining us. Again, this is Tracy Williams, and I'm here with the Aging Parent Answer Group. So if you have any questions about, if you have parents or grandparents that are transitioning and need to downsize or move into either some kind of elderly home or, what do you call the other home? Senior living, then definitely put your question in the box. And we're getting ready to turn this over to Dawn, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about how you can get in contact with them if you do have any more questions later on. Okay?
Well, first of all, please go like our Facebook page. the Aging Parent Answer Team. We'll make sure there's a link in the comments afterwards. But we do events like this all over town, all over the Kansas City metro area, and we do this for free. So the 4 of us professionals volunteer our time to come and be a panel
Wow, that's nice.
for any kind of group that wants us to. We do it for free. And again, we're not there to sell you anything. We're there to just answer your questions. If you're interested in booking us, you can send us that message through the Facebook page, or I will give you my direct line here at my office. It's 913-348-57. Whoops. Well, let's forget that. We'll put a link in there. I'm a little nervous. I've never done Facebook Live before. Got us.
It was me that made her nervous, y'all. I came in here nervous, so yeah.
Just call us. I'm an insurance agent, not a tech specialist. So.
That's okay.
But yeah, when you like our Facebook page, you'll see we'll be posting different events. You can come and see us live and ask your questions there. Otherwise, send us an email or a message on Facebook, and we'd be happy to get those answers to you. It's what we're all about.
That sounds great. Now, I just kind of have the same question for each of you. So if you have an aging parent that was recently widowed, what do you think the first thing that you would recommend that person do, to make that change?
You want to start with Troy?
Yes.
From a clinical standpoint, one of the things I worry about is just, if, say, they've lived in the same house for 40 years, one of the loved ones passes away, I would worry about kind of isolation starting to set in.
Yeah.
There's going to be a transition period, of course, but I worry the fact that, they're home alone, they're not doing much, because then the next thing after isolation comes depression, they're kissing cousins. So that would be a concern that I'd want to make sure family or whoever is keeping an eye on, for sure.
Good. I like that.
On the insurance side of things, if you've recently been widowed, you need to contact your insurance agent. Make sure that all of your beneficiaries and all of your policies are up to date and you've chosen someone new in case it was the person that passed away. Also, a really good time to introduce your agent and your other professionals in your life to your children so that they know who's in charge of all the different parts of your life and can help out.
Would you say that might be kind of hard to do, especially if that's a spouse you've been with for a while?
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
And now, when you guys run across something like this, what do you find the first person they contact, professionally?
Oftentimes, we get contacted last. They're going to want to contact banks. They're going to want to contact their attorneys, where the money's at first. And then it sort of trickles down to when you're getting your homeowner's bill and it still has your deceased spouse's name on it, then you're going to call your agent and say, well, they don't need to be on the policy anymore. And we don't actually make that change until the title in the house is changed. So there's a lot of things that are just going to take a lot of time.
Yeah.
But the first thing to do is just call us. First of all, they might have had life insurance you didn't know about, and we want to make sure that if they did, we get that money to you as soon as possible.
Okay. I like that. That's a hard transition to make.
Very hard.
Because you got so many emotional things going on there. So you definitely need people around you that's going to support you. So I really want to applaud all of you guys for just, coming up with this brainchild to come together and join forces and help people when they're going through this transition, because you definitely need people really surrounding you and knowing what they're doing, able to think clearly, because when you have any kind of loss, whether it's where you move or somebody died or your cat died or your kids go away to school, it's a change. Any kind of big change is a loss to us, because then it's like, where do I go from here? What do I do now? So if you can have somebody around you that can think clearly, then which direction to go. So, Ms. Kirsten, what about you? What would you say they need to do?
I would say that hand in hand with updating the insurance information, they also need to look at their existing estate plan, especially those health care documents, because often, especially with longtime spouses, one follows the other. And so you want to make sure you've got those things in place and you've got the next person who's going to help take care of you now that your spouse is gone.
Awesome.
Right. And I would say...
Hold on.
yeah,
We saved the best for last, y'all. No pressure, Peggy.
I'll
No
pay you
pressure.
later for saying that. No, I would say, some of the hardest things when you've lost a loved one and you're living in shared space and they're no longer there, is to let a person make the decisions around what they want to do with that person's things in their own time. Some people can deal with getting rid of things quickly. For some, it feels like a job that they need to do right away. For other people, they want to go a little slower. That it's harder to part with things that, and so be kind to yourself in terms of don't feel like you've got to right away deal with a lot of stuff in the home if you're just not ready to do that. It's also a very big decision to decide that you're going to leave your home and go someplace else to live. If you decide you're going to sell your home and that kind of thing. So, take a little time to take a breath and think about your lifestyle that you're going to be going to and the positive things that might be associated with that, and then use that as your guide when you're trying to decide what you're going to take with you and maybe where you're going to want to go.
Wow. That's a mouthful right there. I mean, this kind of has me thinking, I probably would not want to be in that space because of all the different memories of different places in the house and things like that. Plus, we got stairs, and I'm ready to, leave them stairs alone so I can be healthy and buy me some health insurance when I can afford it. Any last words, anybody? That you guys have? Any last advice pieces you got?
I would just say that pre-planning on any of these aspects is the key to making that successful transition and having those things that you can control in your control and leaving the legacy that you would like to leave behind.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. And we all know sometimes pre-planning is something difficult that we don't do, but I'm always encouraging people plan, be determined, make a plan, work the plan. And that might include me every day. I have a to-do list, and I pick 3 things from that to-do list because I understand if you take massive action on something, then something can happen. And so even though that might be something, hey, Joy, even though that's something that might be difficult to do, then it's still something that is very necessary. So again, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Okay, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.